Jumbo, about Ghani. Michael Haynie, live from Africa.
Hey, Donnie, how you doing, man?
Jumbo.
Asante.
Huh?
Asante.
Asante.
You know what
Asante
that means,
Sana.
Donnie? Yeah, Asante. Absolutely, man. And Jumbo.
Jumbo, Mungu asifiwe, Bwana asifiwe. Hello to the motherland.
You've gone beyond my nuts. Absolutely, Donnie.
Hey, Mike, I saw your pictures. You look more African than an African, brother.
That's exactly what they thought. And I can't wait till we get to the experience of going into the Maasai village. And maybe they were kidding or not, but they thought, you know, everywhere I go, they speak to me Swahili because they think, you know, I'm Kenyan, which is I tell you, man, it's a good feeling for them to feel as though you identify with them by look. But then when we start talking, you know, historically, you know, suffice it to say, you know, I got a lot of catch up to do, man. I think you were inspiration to me years ago when I saw some of what you did and coming over here as well.
You got to get one of these spears, man. One of these Maasai spears. That's how you kill a lion.
Yeah, they actually wanted to give me one to bring back, but I figured, you know, in the age now of traveling, I didn't want to do that. But
get a spear. Hey, get a spear, and I need a Maasai blanket.
I got one for you, Donnie. I wish I brought it up here, but I've got 3 of them, and one's for you, brother. One's for you. They actually invited me out in the woods to go hunting with them. Said that
no.
Don't do that.
Not this time. We want you to come back next time.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you. A blanket for you.
Now, unless you got that 357 on your hip. No, I'm just joking with you.
350.
Don't leave home without you in Africa, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, look, did you hear any sounds?
Did I what?
Did you hear any sounds that you never heard before? Like,
oh my God. Oh my God, Donnie. By the second night, it finally put me to sleep. But absolutely unusual. But it didn't. It wasn't gunfire. You know, it was just unusual animals talking, mating. But I've heard so much and seen so much, Donnie, that I hope one that feels as though they want this opportunity to come and see their motherland, because this is where we're from. The experience has been phenomenal. Uganda now, got here last night with some friends. Unfortunately, the ambassador to Uganda from the U.S. sends her regrets because she was with someone last night that had COVID, and so she's in self-quarantine. So she's not going to be with us.
I was on the subway with a dude.
Brown.
I was on the subway the other day, and a dude, I'm pretty certain he had the coronavirus. You should have seen people getting away from him. But the selfish part was he didn't even have a mask on.
Wow. Well, let me talk about that for a second, if you don't mind, Donnie. They are absolutely well ahead of us in discipline relative to prevention for corona. Everywhere you go, it is mandatory you wear a mask. Masks are the number one sellers on the street. And the airport, you have to go through 3 screenings, with temperature before you even get to an airplane. But they are very serious about it, which shows you why their exposure and their rates are much lower than the rest of the world, because they don't play. They take this extremely serious.
I bet that ambassador want to put her foot in somebody's butt right now, though.
Hey, that's real. I absolutely agree with you that she does. But Donnie, many of the people over here haven't had, with the exception of those that are, related to the embassy or in the healthcare, many of them haven't had the opportunity to have the vaccine because it's an affordability thing over here. So they are in high prevention mode in terms of, like in Uganda, we are at 9 o'clock. There is a mandate off the streets. You can't be on the streets after 9 o'clock in Uganda, from 9 until 5 a.m.
So that means
you hear those African drummers in the background?
Yes.
I still got you with us, Donnie?
Yeah, man. I'm just digging on the music, man.
Yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal, man. I tell you, the entire experience has been phenomenal. Donnie, coming from America, I ate once a day because it was part of my discipline. Since last Thursday, I've had an opportunity to have 26 meals, Donnie. I've had 26 meals. I've eaten breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The food is fresh. There's a competition between Uganda and Kenya as to who has the sweetest pineapples. The way that they prepare their food is unbelievable, just unbelievable. And so last night I was keeled over because my stomach was so bloated with a beef spare rib in my hand, trying to get more bite in. But you come over here, the cuisine, the hospitality from the places that you go to are outstanding. We haven't experienced, particularly to each other, until you come somewhere, they know where you're from, and they ensure that you have a good time. Not that there's not problems over here, because there's some comparables relative to corruption, policing, business practice, etc., that you are a bit disappointed that it is that way, but we're used to that in the States.
So tell me about the
food. So the food is fresh. Everything's fresh. That's one thing that's good about it. You don't get frozen food. I've had African beef made a certain way. If you eat pork, African pork. But it's the vegetable, the kale and the collard greens, Donnie, the way they season it. I was having kale and collard greens for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They were so delicious. And as well as a helping of pineapple. One thing I didn't do, Donnie, the Maasai offered me their traditional milk and blood mixture, cow milk and cow blood mixture, that they say keeps you slim and trim and fights off a lot of diseases in the body. I did refuse that. I said, well, maybe the next time I'll drink blood. But somehow, that didn't agree to me. But everything else here I've eaten before me because it's very good quality. And they seem to fix their food with love,
They were trying to slide you an aphrodisiac, bro.
I hope so. I hope so. Matter of fact, I'll bring you some of that back.
Okay. So
bring it in the blanket.
Why are you there?
Well, Donnie, when I started Global Training Centers, one of the things that has been important to me in our career is to have relationships. When I started in the hospitality and tourism business, almost 40 years ago, there were very few people that looked like me at higher echelons. And, you know, I did what I needed to do to get in a position that I was able to help others that looked like me. That, not that I would not help anyone, but ensure that people that look like me had an opportunity to have a career as far as they want to go. When I started global training centers, Kenya, when you look at global for me, and Africa, the continent of Africa, was the first place as an opportunity to embrace relationships with people that I know, or people that like me. So coming to Kenya and working Kenyans initially, because one of my former employees is came over here running a hotel, but now he's coming to work for Global in terms of what we will be doing relative to training, internships. So yesterday was a big day for us in that we partnered with a government-run institution, a higher education institution that offers college degrees, certificate programs, just like CCC or Morgan State and hospitality and tourism. What they would like is for them to get a American and for us to be able to, and one of our students that want an African hospitality and tourism field in Kenya. So we came up with an agreement yesterday because they were duly impressed background of those that work with us and with what it is that we have done in terms of laying the groundwork with Global. So starting next year, although the relationship starts from a training perspective immediately, starting next year, the G program, which traditionally looks at European countries to bring workers over season, we hope to bring as many Kenyans to the U.S., particularly in Guam. For instance, Ocean City usually brings in about 5,001 workers, but because of COVID, they were not able to bring in that many. But we expect next year things open up, and now we have a new pipeline through Global of bringing Kenyan workers into the U.S. for the experience. The training, Donnie, if I can say, going to this hospitality and tourism higher education institution, we think in America that many times we know everything. We don't necessarily look as others look. We feel as though it's inferior service or inferior cooking or inferior knowledge. These folks are off the chain. Year one, I would be in year one cutting up a half of a cow or tenderloins, sirloins, steaks, etc. There to go in the kitchen, and be a great asset in any kitchen given the training that they're doing over here. They're doing a phenomenal job of training.
So who got the best coffee?
That's the best coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I did drink Kenyan coffee 2 days ago. Haven't tasted Ugandan coffee, but the Kenyan coffee was unbelievable. And they have something called pre-made tea, Donnie, that was off the chain. Not taste and sweet we usually use, such as sugar, but just off the chain. I've got someone making me now a virgin mango apple martini without the alcohol in it. So it's a hybrid of a apple and a mango as one. They've created that, and it's unique to Uganda. Well, you know I can talk, Donnie. What did
they say about Idi Amin?
I haven't heard anything about Idi Amin. I tell you one thing about Uganda, man. It's safe. It's clean. It's more relaxed. In comparison to Kenya, the Ugandans seem to be a bit more relaxed the traffic nightmares that you see in Kenya. One thing that's happened over in particularly Kenya and Uganda, Donnie, is the Chinese have a huge presence over here because their infrastructure. They're lending money to build out infrastructure. So all of a sudden, the unpaved roads that people may have experienced years ago are going away. You're starting to see 4-lane highways because the Chinese presence and lend a considerable amount of funds to promote whatever they have, in addition to making up for whatever it is that they lend to the Kenyans and Uganda. But Uganda is a very safe country, unlike we may have heard during the Idi Amin regime. Matter of fact, I was listening to a broadcast today. They were talking about business. They fell a bit short of their countrywide budget last year because of COVID. They don't expect their economy to recover into 2025. Tourism is huge in both countries. Inbound traffic is huge in both countries. So what this show was focusing on, and the fact that they were able to speak freely on public TV was profound to me, particularly when I thought of the Idi Amin time. Because I said, well, Mike, when you go on the Donnie show, be careful about what you say in Uganda because you don't want anybody to say it. But it's not that way. People speak freely, they feel comfortable, but they are afraid that the government will tax people because the tools aren't here to balance out their budgets because they're so constricted in terms of traffic, they're not getting the usual patterns of spending from foreigners coming into the country. And they expect by July.
Listen, man, we love Idi Amin, okay? We love what he stood for, okay?
Okay.
We looked at the movie like this because we know the other people made the movie, okay? So we are big fans of Idi Amin, okay?
Okay. I guess I get a bit more lesson on Idi Amin from you. And, you know, just understand the politics of both countries and where they are today to their economies. Because I got to tell you, most of the Kenyans that I've talked to talk about corruption, government corruption. You know, when we came from the airport, the first night that we came to Kenya, police stopped us twice. And each time they stop, you know, they're looking for money, you know, in order to let you go. So even at the lowest levels, the government
hey, don't you got tolls? When you go to New York, don't you got a toll to pay?
Yeah, we got a toll to pay.
Okay, well, it's a toll limit too. It's a toll.
I hear you. I hear you. They don't look at it that way, particularly given how they have to work for their money. They don't look at it that way. They talk about the fact that the police should be a understanding of how they have to make their money, not extract, because they're driving every dollar that they make. So the Kenyans, not me, because I'm listening to them, but they're very concerned about the corruption, particularly at the levels of government that affect them. So there's so much what should be coming down for infrastructure improvements, but they don't have to deal with the Chinese that have a significant presence, as I said. They're able to get lighting and subsidy, because one thing that I didn't realize now in Kenya, education is not free. Even the Maasai, the most pay for the children's education. Education was not very important to the Maasai maybe 2 decades ago, and they realized that wherever they go, situation and where they are now, because they can't hunt and do some of the things the government restrictions before, and so, like now, education for their children is important, but they have to pay for it. So one of the things that we did with Global, we went to the village. I went into the village, into their cow dung house that they sleep on slots inside of that can't be any bigger than 10 by 12 with 4 or 5 people in it. were at foot in cow dung because they said that was blood free, right? And that every dollar they had to set something aside for their children's education. They walked 2 or 3 miles to school each way. So we adopted the lower schools, kindergarten through 6th grade, that I'll be sending. They only ask us for simple things, books, composite books, and we'll send a few dollars because $50 here goes a Messiah, goes a long.
So, Mike, I heard you say that young people have to pay, parents have to pay for their children to go to school. What do you think about here in the United States where education is free, but people don't go?
Well, I think that for American people, would be great for them to experience the seriousness of education here because it's an investment. Whether you make $10,000 a year, you have to pay to go to school. All of them are associated with that.
The sound is horrible at this point. It's horrible.
Is the sound not good?
Horrible.
Let's see what we do, Donnie. Donnie, can you hear me now? Hear me now?
It's about the same. So go ahead, keep talking. We're enjoying the concert.
Yeah, so the education piece, which is very important. And if I have to go to another place, I got another setup now because I knew things may get a bit hectic. But if I have to go into another education is so important to them. And the U.S., us blacks and our communities in the U.S. need to take a look at what they do in the of education.
Okay, let's try your other location. Can you hear us? Loud, testing. Folks, we're talking with Michael Haynie, big-time supporter of BlackUSA.News and Be More News. He was just in Kenya, and now he's in Uganda. Mike, of course, has the hospitality training program, and he's all about training people to work in the field of hospitality. As we well know, the continent of Africa has over 54 countries and incredible opportunities in the realm of hospitality. Testing, Mike Haynie from Uganda. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me now, Donnie? How's that?
Okay, sounds a little better.
Is that a little better?
Yes, sir. So you were telling us about the how it costs to go to school there in Uganda, and I was saying, well, here is free. It's free to go to school here. Do we appreciate what we have here in the United States?
I would say no. I would start and appreciate that these parents in Kenya to ensure that kids get up, they're well nourished, they get proper nutrition, and they feel. So you see more of collaboration between school and home because of the investment. In most of these Kenyans, early in the morning, Donnie, 6 o'clock in the morning, people are up, have something in their hand, okay? Because they may not have a job, maybe they're selling this, maybe they're selling that. And as I was told, the principal benefit of these businesses, of individuals, is to support the education of their children. And it's phenomenal to see. And I think that our children, particularly in the African American community that don't understand their history, we need to find a way. If we believe in reparations, if we believe reparations is something that's owed to us, maybe the first part of reparations should be the government our reparations supporting an 11th, 12th grade child coming to Africa to gain the experience, gain the knowledge of our mother. Did I lose you, Donnie?
No, you can't lose me. I was letting you go on. Say, do your thing.
Yeah, so I believe that one of the issues that we have in our community, lack of knowledge of our heritage from even me. Here I am at my stage in life, finally get an opportunity to come. It brings you to tears when you see what people that look like us, just like a young brother on the golf course said, he says, hey, we're not going to take you. Look, he patted you just like me. He says, we know you come from America. We know that you have things better than we have. He said, but that was not your choice. And what does that mean to our young people who don't understand our heritage, don't understand our history, that we can't give them an opportunity? If we're going to affect generations of our people to take serious what it is that they're given and where they are, then we have to send them back to where it all started. So if they understand and see people and see them side and see Kenyans and see Ugandans and the struggles of life that they go through every day, and for the most part, they're happy.
What was the first thing that you noticed when you got there? Mike, what was the first thing you noticed when you got there?
I'm sorry?
What was the first thing you noticed when you got there?
The first thing I noticed, Donnie, was that everything was run by people that look like me. Donnie, you know, I'm a person that has been exposed to a lot. I believe in equal opportunity. And equal opportunity means no color you are, no matter what creed you are, that you have an opportunity to progress. And so it's not incumbent on me to deny anyone because of color or creed an opportunity. So it's not against white people, but Donnie, for the first time in my life, I kid you not, I'll never forget Saturday. You know how come Saturday was important?
Why?
For a whole 24 hours, I did not see one Caucasian at all running anything, in position of anything, in the news of anything, because our people in this country were so competent to handle everything. And they have, I looked up in amazement as I talked to Paul Masai, my colleague here in Kenya. I said, Paul, you know, it's so unusual that I never paid attention to until just now, that everything that I have seen all day long has been done by people that looked like me successfully and very well. And that was profound. That was profound. So don't tell me that I can't do and what I can't do. Just give me the opportunity and the training and the education, and I'll show that I can. And as a power of example, to come here and see that, we sometimes use that as an excuse for not obtaining more in the United States or in America. You know, we use a crutch as an excuse to not go and obtain more over here that can do everything, and they want more.
Is this your first time to Africa?
This is my first time. That won't be my last. I'm already booking my trip for February because of business to come back here, man. You know, until I die, God willing, I'll get over here as many times as I possibly can. Zimbabwe, Tanzania, when I come back, where I've got to follow business, Kenya, and back to Uganda to hopefully final relationship. But this is has opened up something to me that even Donnie, it almost brings you to tears.
So, Mike, are you going to take any video? We need you to take some video while you are there.
Donnie, I have 1,500 pictures. I've got over, and this 1,500 pictures in less than 10 days. And I've got maybe 10 videos, particularly the Maasai village and some of the national parks. I'm not going to call them jungles, as I hear people say, that I was able to experience, as well as talking to some people on the street. But what I'm really excited about on Tuesday, Donnie, and I got to tell you, Donnie, watching what you do and watching the newscasts as I did this morning and seeing what you do, it's humbling to see someone like in your position do what you do to get us the exposure and the honest information that we need. And people need to understand that. So to give you what I have documented, for you to do what it is that you need to do with it, it's all yours, man. Just like the brothers and the sisters that are business people over here in Kenya that will be with you Tuesday, because they got a lot more to say. You know, I've got 30 minutes to say, you know, the experience isn't there. The experience is with, you know, Jim and Rachel and Paul that will be with you Tuesday, business senator that owns a phenomenal resort, right? Those are the experiences that I would love the people to hear in comparison what's happening here to what we do over in the States.
Live from Africa, we got Michael Haynie. Hey, Michael Haynie, you ain't go up to them lions and say, "Here, kitty, kitty," did you?
Well, I took a picture of a lion. Matter of fact, Donnie, one of the most intriguing things I saw was an actual lion buffalo, or it was believed the strategy of the lions deploying school, and they didn't get it because, you know, they don't go very far very fast, but they're very strategic. But to see how they deployed and how they communicated, unbelievable. But I got one whose tooth must have been this long. And my daughter said when I sent the picture back, she said, "Hey, I want that one." So no, I told her, you know, I'm not getting that close to it. But it's unbelievable. Matter of fact, my tour guide into the Masa Mara Park told me of an encampment in which one of the guides went out on his own, and he knew he wasn't supposed to. When they found his body the next day, it was, you know, it was something that you didn't want to see. So this is, you know, it's no joke. It's dangerous. This is not the zoo, man. We're out there in the midst of it. We had, when we saw a elephant the other day, one looked up, saw me snapping pictures out the back, and decided that he or she didn't like that and started charging the back of the safari jeep and said, "Oh, time to go." And I got a nice snapshot as I kept snapping. But it's just amazing, you know, that you see.
Hey, Mike.
Bird,
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. We don't want to hear any stories of you, okay? So when you see the elephant not liking you taking the pictures, stop taking the pictures and go away. Go away, man. Go far away very fast. Leave the elephant alone, man. I don't know what you know about the lion, but the elephant got real big feet, man. Real big feet.
Yeah.
So is there any crime? You know, Baltimore, they popping people like it's going out of style. Pop, 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 pop.
What did you say, Donnie?
Have you seen any crime? Crime. Like Baltimore, they pop, 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 pop.
Crime?
Yeah, crime. Yes, the stick up.
No, I have not seen any crime. I wanted to walk into the market amongst my people. That's how I described it to Paul. He said, "No, we're not going to let you do that." And Kevin, my tour guide.
Well, they said,
yeah, Kevin. No, man, it's about pickpocketing and small stuff like that. But Kevin let me go. Kevin let me go. let me walk, meet the people. You'll see the picture, man. We had a phenomenal time. I did put my wallet in my front pocket, you know what I'm saying? But I felt at home different than I did on the streets of Baltimore. It was just more crowded, and the people were more thirsty to do business with me because they needed money. You know, but I feel like someone was going to accost me. But then again, I didn't go 2 blocks into, you know, encampments either, where I knew there could be danger. But I was not afraid to among people, man.
Well, see, first of all, you're dressed like an American. You got to dress in the homeboy gear. You got to blend in, man. You're not blending in, sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that's probably so, true, Mike, Toddy. Like I told you, Mike, they felt I was Messiah. So that's it.
Well, I'm going to ask like are you going to put on the Messiah outfit and do the jumping dance?
I did the jumping dance, Downey, and I have a video of it. So when they greet you, because for us, they did a welcoming because we went into the village. And they said, you want to participate? Because you know what the maybe it's not a myth, you know what it is, the one that jumps the highest gets the most women. You know, that's the way they say it. And, you know, I used to be a high jumper, man. So I told him, man, I don't want to jump against me. I said, because you will have no one left. I'll take them all back to the U.S. And so there was one kid, there was one kid that outjumped me. Just one kid. So I lost to one kid. He had to be 18, but I can still get off the ground.
Hey, Mike, you are a visitor. Let them win. You are a visitor. Let them win, okay? Do not challenge them. Let them win, brother. We want you to come back home. See them Baltimore cats got to be challenging people all in Central Africa. Don't do that, Mike. Let them win.
Yeah, I'll remember that, Donnie. I'll try to remember that, man.
Now, listen, I want to ask you, you are not far from the Congo. You're in Uganda. You're not far from Zaire. Let me call it Zaire.
Right, right.
Has anyone said anything about Zaire?
No, not at all.
You know, the Congo, that's where King Leopold went in and he was cutting off the hands of black people.
Mm.
So what have you seen of the legacy of colonialism?
So, as I mentioned to you, what is probably as concerning to mainstream Kenyans and Ugandans right now is the fact that the Chinese have infiltrated business. The Chinese are in significantly, putting significant monies in. And we know that in Kenya, for instance, in my industry, you have many Kenyans that are now at the higher echelons of business, but you still have the residual of Europeans that are running and calling the shots, you know, and that's a big concern, you know.
You talking about the British?
Yes, the British. The other day, I was at the hotel leaving for Uganda, and I was interacting with a couple of the staff members, and the European general manager came up abruptly, almost interrupted my direct conversation with his people. So you see this still, for those that I had the opportunity to see, Europeans that were in business, see this, what I call arrogance. This is mine, however. It feels good to see the dominance of business leaders and business people that are Kenyans in the country. Although, like I can't say it enough, China's money is having an influence in both Kenya and Uganda because they want to build out their infrastructure. And part of the reason they want to build it out is to make things comfortable for us coming in from the U.S. So we have good roads because I tell you, man, the infrastructure of light, like we take for granted lighting. You know, they have to buy a card just like we do for a refillable cell phone. That if they want electricity, they have to buy a rechargeable, refillable card that they have to plug in at their home to get the electricity. So therefore, if they don't have money, then they don't get electricity. It's no BGE, late payment plan, or anything nature. Just like over here, you know, we got to augment us doing the recovery of COVID. Nothing like that over here, man. These people are scrambling, and the fact they have tourism, which is significant to their economy, or the Brits coming over, checking on their business, they're just bartering and trading between themselves, man. So you're seeing right now an economy that they don't expect in either country, Uganda or Kenya, to reappear in any remote form as it was in 2019 until 2025. So what do they do in the interim? You know, what do they do? How they make that dollar to get their kids to school? That's why when they saw us and we went to the market and we were obviously spending a few bucks. And I got to tell you, Donnie, I made sure I took care of our people. You know what I'm saying? Be it our tour guide, Uber driver, wait staff member, because the significance of the need over here and the lack of subsidy stimulus to what we get, you know.
So, Mike,
So
I read
hopefully,
not long ago. Listen, I read what there were Chinese in South Africa, 13 Chinese police stations. Is that going a bit too far? Is that letting the Chinese do a bit too much?
Well, I know that they're concerned about it over here in Kenya. I am. My opinion is, what is the Chinese motive? The motive to $1 billion to help the infrastructure and make 3.5% interest? No, hey, that's money. They got the capital, and their capital is on them to improve lives around here. But if their motive is all of a sudden straight up and take over big business and have an economy that trumps the Kenyan economy, then that would be good.
So I got another question for you, Mike.
Go for it, Donnie.
Do you think black women would like it there in Uganda? Black women from Randallstown and Owens Mills and Mitchellville.
Women are the backbone of this country. And at the college that we're partnering with, the leadership of the 8 leaders, 7 of them men. When I went to Maasai Village and I looked at the homes that they built out of cow dung and straw, they informed me that it's the women that build that. You know, they informed me that it's the women that go out to the marketplace with the heavy loads of goods that they have to set up. You know, the women are the backbone, just as they are in the U.S. of the economy. Maybe it may be more brain trust in the U.S. Maybe they're in political positions and places. And as we start to see, and we're proud of our black women in the U.S., right? We're proud of the fact of where they've gone in corporate America, et cetera. Over here, they're on the ground, they're hard. And guess who drive the buses? No, maybe 2 women, the entire country of Kenya, drive the public transportation buses, because apparently it's a men's job, but it doesn't preclude them from doing the heavy labor and the farming on the pineapple plantations or the coffee bean plantations. So if you look at the women in Raytown, the women in the U.S. in terms of whether they come and adopt to help sustain the family, the economy by actually doing work, I'd say that it'll be eye-opening and compelling for them, and a heck of a lot of respect they would have for the women over here, as I did.
So listen, I want you to say hello to Nicole. Nicole is one of our advertisers. She also does the show on Wednesday, Sister Biz, and she has a business down on West Lombard Street, ANC Ship and Pack. So she does shipping, packing, international. Born in Chicago. Now, I want you to say something to Nicole. She just asked the question, how can others get involved?
Wow. Hey, Nicole, how you doing, Nicole? I saw you, and I believe tomorrow on your Women Biz show. I think it was tomorrow. And so one of the things that I hope to do is to import human beings, Kenyans, into the U.S. And the good thing is that I had some good people on the ground over here in Kenya that opened that up. They were very excited at the fact someone that looked like me was able to have that could work with them and make that happen. So what does that mean? Does that mean that there's other export or import opportunities for other things that they may need? One of the things I didn't want to do was come over here and think that, number one, I knew everything, and number two, that I was going to just take over and do this. That's why I listened to what they wanted, and I worked with the people that I knew over here. Jam, Annette and Paul have actually lived in the state of Maryland, and now a safari company and a hotel over here, and will be involved in my business. And that relationship goes far, but that maybe the next time, hey, let me buy a ticket and go over there and meet the people on the ground over here and see where the opportunity is for us to collaborate across the water. Because they're not unwilling to do that whatsoever, man. And it's all a matter of introduction. So we're only limited by our dreams, our tenacity, and our willingness to take chances and build our business on a solid ground. Like the first thing that I did when I got over here was complete the business with the attorney that we hired back in November of last year, so that we're legitimate with the KRA, or the equivalent to the IRS in the US, Kenyan Revenue Authority, so that we have the credibility and legitimacy to do business. So with that, now all of a sudden they recognize and they respect the fact that I've done things well. And I asked them where I could help, what it is that they need from me. Nicole has that they may need here, and what is it that Nicole may need over in the US. And those that I couldn't resolve, and the reason I didn't sign any legal documents before I came over here, look people in the eyes, got a sense of the lay of the land myself, embrace relationship. That was important to me, is to not to do it by phone, email, virtual, but come and feel the land and feel the people and get a of a company that it was a good environment for them and a good environment for me to business.
How's the weather there, Mike?
Weather's phenomenal. The weather in Uganda is understood to be some of the best weather on the continent. It's always mid 80s, no lower than 65. And when I say always, the majority of the time, no lower than 65. Kenya, man, they had on gloves, and it was 55 degrees. And I kind of felt the nip as well. When I was out on safari, would wake up, they put a water heater bottle in between my mattresses at night because there was no heating and cooling system there, just to warm the sheets, man, because, it's amazing how things feel at 50, 55 degrees. The daytime high right now in Kenya is about 72, 75 degrees. Their warm season is January, February.
So what season is this?
This is kind of like their fall season, It's kind of like their fall, or let's even call almost close to their winter season, because in January starts their real hot. And in Kenya, they say that it does not get any hotter than mid 80s anyway. And right now it's mid 70s. Uganda gets over 90. So Uganda gets a lot warmer than Kenya.
So this is my request for you for Tuesday. Tuesday, I want to get more into the entertainment business. So I want you to look into, I know they just got $1 billion basketball league there. I know that Africans are making music and selling music, and we now have this whole digital revolution. So that's what I want you to, one of the things I want you to look at for Tuesday, the entertainment industry. We have blacks here. We are masters of entertainment. We're masters of other things, but entertainment seems to fall into our laps.
Absolutely,
and everybody
Donnie.
else make money off of us than us.
Absolutely, Donnie. I wish I could point, and maybe you'll say, Mike, point this camera for the final few minutes to this drum corps out here, this African drum corps out here that is just unbelievably phenomenal.
Okay.
You know,
but before you do that, Mike, we want you to say a prayer for us.
Want to what?
We want you to say a prayer for us.
Say a prayer. Hey, Donnie, I appreciate that. Gracious Father, thank you so much for allowing me to experience home, and moreover, for allowing me through this vehicle chair home. You know, grant us all the desire to understand where you born us, so that we're able to really get in tune to how to nurture and raise our children. Everyone opportunity to experience home as I have. Keep us, be it in Baltimore, Kenya, in your name, Jesus Christ, my Lord. Amen.
Amen. Okay, now tell us some of these words that you've learned, man. Give us some vocabulary.
Okay, Donnie, now that's the toughest question you've asked me. When I come back, I will have done more of my homework. One of the things I intentionally did not do was represent that I know what I didn't know. But I'm listening. I'm listening. I know that jumbo, the greeting in Kenya, not that it's unacceptable in Uganda. There's a different word to do that, because Swahili, you know, Donnie, was the universal language that was created for us as a people over here to communicate each other, because there's thousands of different dialects based on the thousands of different tribes. And so the Swahili, which I will learn a bit more, so when I come back over in Africa, I'll know more. So ask me that question later, Donnie. Don't embarrass me, man. I only know 2 words: Asante and Jumbo.
Abaragani. Go back to your Kwanzaa training, brother. Abaragani. Umoja. Umoja.
Okay.
Unity. Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia.
So Donnie, maybe you'll
Cooperative
come over.
economics. Self-determination.
Maybe you'll come over here with me in February, man. I think that you would be an amazing personality for them to meet and see over here. Maybe you'll come over here, man, because you got experience we don't have.
I only travel Ethiopian Airlines.
I tell you, Johnny, I travel Kenyan. I travel Kenyan Airlines, and the service was phenomenal. You know, I had a African co-pilot, an African pilot, 3 African female stewardess, and a African male stewardess, and the service was unbelievable. They even came to me and they said to me, they said, would you mind doing a recommendation or a survey and just write out on a piece of paper of your experiences? Because they were so humble, they were so gracious. The same thing that they say in the planes over in the US, they were saying to us, but there was a different sort of hospitality, and the food was outstanding, because they give you food just like they used to way back when on US, and they gave when I came yesterday a wonderful chicken wrap that was just seasoned unbelievable. I ate everything they put in front of me, man. I have not turned down anything. I think I've gained 7 pounds in this.
Listen to me. If you get a chance to go see Ethiopian Airlines, I want you to check it out, okay? Trust me when I tell you.
I'm going.
Okay.
I've made a commitment to go to Eritrea, hopefully later on next year in the fall.
No, you're
my
misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding. I want you to look at Ethiopian Airlines. You don't have to go. Just get on the plane. Just go to the boarding terminal. Listen to me. I am trying to tell you something, brother.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Donnie. Okay. Hey, listen, man, this music is just getting phenomenal out here, man. I am going to.
We live from Africa, folks, with Mike Haynie.
Can you see that, Donnie? Hey, Donnie.
Hey, man, did you do any dancing over there? Let me see you dance.
Yes, I did. Now, I'll show you the video that you asked for. I danced with the Maasai. Besides the jumping, I also did some dancing. And when I leave you in 2 minutes, I'm going to go down to this phenomenal drum corps, and maybe I'll dance. But we're not going to video that, man. Just outstanding, Donnie.
Okay, so you got your assignment. We want to hear about the entertainment industry. We also want you to check out. You know what to do.
Hey, Donnie, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to Tuesday, as I mentioned, to bring these business leaders in here, man, and you guys here. Many have been to the U.S., gotten the U.S. education, come on here and doing very well. One business leader has 5,000 security people, man. And the security company, very significant, man. So I'm really looking forward to introducing you to them and letting them talk about the comparison of their country, their homeland, to the U.S. where they visit. So just one more time, Johnny, let me give you this music, man. Johnny, thank you very much, man. I'm going to sign off and let you do your thing.
Baltimore, we're talking with Michael Haynie live from Uganda. Also earlier from Kenya,
Jumbo. Asante.
Dante Sana. Folks, we'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. with Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard. Michael Haynie, be safe. I'm out with this beat.